Hello, and welcome to this Whitestorm Lightning tutorial. Today, we will be discussing the Whitestorm Lightning stack. Now, you may have noticed in Whitestorm Lightning, we have certain global variables. But we can't really make our own global variables. Sure, we can make a variable in our script, but it's not going to stay with us from, say, our initialize script to our refresh script. We need something that will save across all of the scripts. So, let me show you a quick example. I'm going to go into my scripts here real quickly. Let's edit these two. One moment, please. Let's go back in. Pardon that, please. Alright, so let's take a look at our initialize script for a game object. Let's do this. Alright, what did we just do here? Oops, sorry, one more parameter. What did we just do here? Well, we can actually do a couple of things. Let me make this example a little more thorough. Sorry. Okay, so we can add ints and floats and a third data type. I can't remember right now, but I'll post it at the bottom of this variable. This video. But we can add global variables into Whitestorm. But wait a minute. What if I have another game object of the same type and everything? Won't it be able to access this global variable? The answer is no. Okay, we've named our own global variable. This is the name, and we've set it to a value. So if this was the equivalent Lua code, or my global float, it looked like that. We actually set this last parameter to false, and this means global. Wait a minute, I thought this was a global variable. This is a global variable right now across this particular instance of this particular game object. So each one of these game objects will have its own instance of my global int, unless of course we set this to true. Anything can now access this variable. I could go into the level script right now and access this variable. But wait a minute, I only know how to create the variable. I don't know how to access it. And by the way, for you Lua programmers, an int is a number without decimal places. A float is a number with decimal places. So how do I access this variable? Stack get int my global int. Alright. A equals this. Alright, so we're getting the return value of this function. Alright, so let's print A. Go ahead and run this. Hey, wait a minute, it didn't print A. What's up with that? I don't know. Why isn't it printing A? I don't see A being printed. The answer is we actually returned an object of type. We actually returned an object, a C++ object. I believe it's called Lua int or Lua variable or wrapped variable or something like that. And we actually have to get the value of that. So the way we get the value is we call the get method. So that's how we get the actual value of this variable. So if we go ahead into our Whitestorm, you'll see It's not really clear which print statement this is. I see what it is, but let me make that a little more clear. So you can see here, if WhiteStorm will move out of the way, here we go. Our global is 0. Now Windows thinks it's not responding. Now let's set this to 12. One moment. As we can see, our global is now 12. We can also access this from the refresh script. That's a challenge. Let's do that. Alright, so as you can see, we're not printing and initialize anymore. Created. And if you look at our output, our global 12. Alright, but how do I change this variable? The answer to that question is stack set int or float my global int. Let's set it to 2. If you'll take a look now, maybe for the first couple of frames this will print 2, which are gone out of command line now. But now 12, and now it'll print 2. Alright, but how do I say add to it? Well, there you go. A plus 2. We run that. We see it changes every time. Our global 124. Our global 178. If you're wondering why it's printing 3 times, it's because we have free game objects from our last example. And they're flickering because of this code here. So, yeah, now it's going up a bit more. We can also do something like this if we wanted to. This is how I typically do it. That works as well. Same thing. And that is globals for you. You can also create these in the game scripts as well. Just set them all to global. Don't set them to private. Which this here can either mean, well, you can think of the last parameter here as global, or not private for your C++ programmers or Java programmers or whatever kind of type clear programming language you have, or or object oriented, excuse me. Type clear. What am I talking about? If we look in the game scripts, let's make a global in the game scripts. Always make it true for the game scripts. So let's copy the name here. Say a little typing. And if you take a look, oopsie, each game object will now increment that. So since we have 3 game objects and we're iterating through it 3 times, 1664, 1644, 1646, 1648, etc., etc. Okay. We can also do this in levels. Same deal. Make it true. Make the last parameter true. Alright. And that is essentially globals with WhiteStorm Lightning. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you next time. Please download and experiment with WhiteStorm. Rate, comment, and subscribe.